All statements shall be directed to the board as a whole, not to individual board members or administrators, and comments will be limited to 5 minutes or less. The privilege to speak may be interrupted, revoked, or a recess of the meeting may be called by the chair if the speaker fails to adhere to board policy or does not observe reasonable decorum and conduct. Thank you. Dwayne Sullivan.
Good evening to the board. Tonight I want to address policy 903 in regards to the statement that the chair just read. There's an article that was written March 17, 2022 within the Gettysburg Times. And this was addressed in 2022. And if you may, I'd like to read this because it's very pertinent to what this board's trying to do now. The following exchange in the letters between Littlestown Education Association co-presidents and the school board solicitor P. Daniel Altland, Janelle Resser, a parent with 3 in the school district, and her attorney, the Littlestown Area School Board, will be reviewing its public comment policy. The policy review stems from comments from Janelle, who has been addressing the board over the past several months regarding books in the school library she believes are obscene, pornographic, promote rape and drug use, and are critical of law enforcement. Prior to opening the public comment portion of the monthly board work session on Monday, Altland announced the board would not enforce a recently updated part of the policy that forbids public speakers from addressing or questioning board members individually and forbids public speakers from questioning or criticizing staff members by name or position. In a letter dated February 15th, Solicitor Altland, at the request of the school board, sent Resser a letter stating the new board policy. Altland also raised a defamation of character issue towards Resser in the letter. The change in school board policy was put forth by the board following a complaint from Dan Lawrence and Michael Tippie, co-presidents of the Littlestown Education Association. Lawrence and Tippie in the letter contend that the Littlestown Education Association cannot allow bargaining unit members to be identified and their reputations tarnished publicly during school board meetings. Resser's attorney, Mark Scrangi of Scrangi Law, replied to Altland's letter defending Resser's First Amendment rights during the public comment portion of the meeting. It is my client's position that she has a First Amendment right to address and question board members individually and to criticize specific staff members identified by name or position, Scrangi wrote in his letter addressed to the board, Solicitor Altland. Melissa Majewski, media law counselor for the Pennsylvania News Media Association, agreed in her opinion the policy changes made by the board violate Resser's First Amendment rights and also are a clear violation of the Pennsylvania Sunshine Law. The public comment policy changes enacted by the board are inconsistent with the Sunshine Act and are also run afoul of the First Amendment. First, government actors like a school district cannot limit the right to speak in a public forum based on content of that speech. Here, the district's position is likely constitutionally infirm as it limits the content of the speech and prohibits speech about individual elected and public officials, stated Milewski. Resser was the first to speak during the public comment portion of the meeting and referenced the letter she received from Altland. By now, you should have received and reviewed the response from the attorney. In the response, you can clearly see that Policy 903 is a blatant violation of the First Amendment rights of every resident of this school district. As my attorney's letter mentioned, the precedent has been set in the decision by the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, Marshall v. Amuso, number 21-4336. In light of this, I am requesting that Policy 903 be revised to not try and attempt to violate the citizens of this district's First Amendment rights, said Resser. Resser also has raised an issue on how this new part of the policy was enacted. I do not ever remember this change in policy discussed in public and voted on in public by the full board. I believe this policy is a clear violation of my First Amendment rights, but also direct and clear violation of the Sunshine Law and Open Records Law, and I will continue to fight them on this issue, on the obscenity that they are allowing to be placed in school libraries. They have underestimated the fight that I have as a mother protecting my boys, said Resser. Policy will be listed on the agenda and discussed by a regular board meeting, according to Altland. I just basically wanted to read that just to let you all know that restricting public comment with the statements that are made prior to public comment is unconstitutional. You're just trampling on everybody's First Amendment right. We're allowed to come up here and speak and address everybody and say what we need to say. Under your own policy, it clearly says here, the board shall provide an opportunity at each open meeting of the Board of Residents and Taxpayers to comment on matters of concern, comma, official action or deliberation which are or may be before the board prior to the official action of the board. So that means anything we're concerned about. So you all need to stop restricting public speech up here. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Turning to presentations, we have Mr. Moran with some special guests tonight. So we are excited to hear what you guys are going to bring forward to the board.
So as they're getting ready, this is a continuation of our review of the resources, getting some alignment in with our curriculum. This is specifically for science and aligned to our skills content. Mr. Powell's done a lot of work. You've seen him here a couple times. We have a couple teachers with us who have been using it, and to my understanding are very excited about it. The kids are excited about it. So I'm really excited to hear, again, excited to hear what you guys have to say tonight.
So on behalf of, and again, I'll just introduce everybody, have everybody introduce themselves so we just make clarity for everybody that's here. And we have two additional people that will be with us as well.
Yeah, Brett Powell. I teach physics at the high school, but I've been helping out with science K through 12.
Robert Lackey, 4th grade here at Alloway Creek.
And Teresa Coons, 5th grade.
Okay. And my two colleagues back here, just introduce yourself just so they.
I'm Ryan Toman. I teach 4th grade.
And Steph Ziegler, also math and science in 4th grade.
So, you know, we're excited about the opportunity tonight to go to the next step and bring the mystery science back to you guys. We've had a chance to finish up our pilot, and we've had a chance to get in some communication with West York School District, some other colleagues who are using it, and a chance for ourselves to be able to debrief where do we want to go, what is the next step for us. So I want to start with their students. And because again, anything that we do should be centered around what's best for our students and what will help them to be successful. So we did a survey of our students in 4th and 5th grade only to ask them and pose that question: how much do you like your current science class, referring again to the work and what's being done with mystery science here this year. And overwhelmingly, you can see 96% of our students, so that would be in categories 3, 4, and 5 there. 96% of our students are rating it as a 3, 4, or 5. And you know, when you look at the two far right columns, which would be, you know, at the highest levels there, that's approximately 81% of our kids. So again, the majority of our kids are telling us right off the bat that they are engaged and enjoying what they're getting this year out of their science experience at Alloway. So we're really excited and happy about that. The second slide goes into a little bit more detail. The question was to ask students, how do they rate whether you agree with the statements about your science lesson? So again, the first piece about engagement, the second piece about the content, okay? So that first piece there talks about, on the left there's, so before I say that, just the purple and the green would be those categories that fall in strongly agree or agree. And again, that's really what we're looking for from that feedback to have what I call on the positive end. Obviously, if the blue was the predominant color up there, then obviously we would be concerned with from that perspective. So the activities were fun and interesting. Again, going back to engagement, so that was extremely high from our students. As we move across there, I think this one's a telltale sign. I understood the new science ideas we learned. So again, their ability to begin to understand the content that's being presented to them from their teachers. The third column, the middle column there, the experiments help me learn better. So again, the experiences of what's occurring inside the class through the lab activities and the hands-on activities that our teachers are presenting to them as a result of the mystery science is again engaging and connecting their students to a better educational experience. Interesting, the fourth question there says, I feel like a real scientist during class. Obviously, you can see that sort of now goes sort of a balanced approach, and some of that can factor into many things depending on a kid's favorite subject area. Some kids love math, some kids love ELA, some kids will love science, social studies, PE, the like, and so that factors in. So I'm not surprised by that when you talk about, you know, that feeling of science and a scientist. There's a balance there between how kids felt about that. The last one, which I think is also a strong point, The content was challenging for them, but not to the point that they became too frustrated. So again, the presentation style of our teachers, the activities from the mystery science allowed those students to feel that they could be challenged, but also not frustrated by what they were learning. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Brett here.
So when we started looking at all of this stuff, it really was because of the new Steele standards. And they really are trying to get students to focus on these things. So we wanted to increase engagement. The new standards really need students to explain their scientific thinking, record observations, and it has to be focused on real world phenomena. And we wanted consistent instruction across the grade levels. So if you boil that down, like what do students need to develop skills in? And it would be observation, questioning, evidence-based reasoning, and problem solving. So mystery science, we think, does that. What's nice about it too is it's really teacher-friendly. Right out of the box, it has step-by-step instructions, videos, materials. It has made teachers' lives much easier as well, so they can focus on what they really need to focus on, which is the students, and promoting student learning with the majority of their time. So if we ask why mystery science, why is this the choice? It is Steele's aligned, which is, it has to be, since those are our new standards. It also, I see it as something that, this is where I've been working with a lot of that vertical alignment, K through 12. I think it really does fit in nicely with what we're trying to do in the middle school, and then ultimately that will help us at the high school, and then ultimately, hopefully, college or career in the future. It is students doing science to learn science, which really is awesome. It is sustainable in cost, so that's great. In terms of the curriculum itself, it's K through 5, so it's not just one grade or one classroom. This is really something that can be implemented K through 5. It starts out with that real world phenomenon, that mystery question. Traditional science, in some ways, was almost like beating the curiosity out of kids. This really leverages their curiosity and cultivates that, which is exciting. And then they're going to investigate the answers to those exciting, curious questions with the discussion, the videos, hands-on activities. So we just think it's great for the students. So this, if you were to bring it all together, there's really 4 good reasons why we want to adopt mystery science. It's engaging, it's standards aligned, it's teacher and student friendly, and it's that inquiry-based instruction. And then you guys can jump in.
All right, how y'all doing? What we like about this curriculum is how it fosters critical thinking by presenting the scientific phenomenon up front, sort of how Brett mentioned there. So for example, every lesson starts off with a question like, could you knock down a building using only dominoes? Mystery science starts off every lesson with questions like this. They get the students talking, excited, but most importantly, thinking critically about everyday topics. I also like how every lesson has a hands-on activity. The lessons come with everything you need to be successful, lab prep, supplies, how-to videos, so that you and the students can focus on, enjoying science and doing hands-on activities each week instead of worrying about like, how am I going to teach this? We strongly support this curriculum. It's been a really good experience.
And most importantly would be one of the things that we enjoy is the cross-curricular connection. So if you look at this list over here, there's reading and listening comprehension through the videos and the articles that are provided. Also writing, we're always looking for more areas other than ELA just to incorporate writing, and within the labs and activities as well as the assessments. So the assessments are a good balance between multiple choice as well as those open-ended questions. Vocabulary development, one area where students are usually the most weakest, and we have, every lesson has vocabulary. 4th and 5th grade has started talking with this pilot about how 5th grade can build on 4th grade and what they're doing and different ways to incorporate that so they're not just seeing it in ELA. the best part, math, yay. There's a lot of math connections in it. So right now we're doing with the pilot, the unit was on water. And there we're looking at the salt water versus fresh water. And we created a graph, and when the kids looked at it and saw the little bit of fresh water that we have in the world, they're like, how are we able to do all of this? And then it turned into a discussion about aquifers, which then some kids actually were able to make the personal connection of having a well in their backyard. So just all of those areas tying it together is exactly what you're going to see on test later on with PSSA. So I just feel like, or we all feel like, they're going to be very prepared because of all of these areas within mystery science.
So going back to our survey that we had of our students that says, what activities did you enjoy the most in your science class as they were working through mystery science? Again, as continues to be the theme, and obviously what you want in any solid science program is hands-on experiments and investigation. 78% of our kids elected to do that. Obviously the setup with the information, the videos that Mystery Science puts together help open those conversations, and the demonstrations that they show, again, sparks our students' interest, and as well as helps to support our teachers in delivering that information. Obviously, in any good classroom, you've got to have your students engaged with each other and working together, whether they're in small groups or larger groups. And our mystery science curriculum does set us up for success with that. And then that final one there at the bottom is sort of building or designing things, sort of those engineering concepts. Again, 73%, 74% of our students really enjoyed that part of what we're doing. So again, we want to continue to feed into what kids are interested in, what they're connected to. The win for us is this mystery science is allowing us to then connect to what the state is also expecting us to do, align it to the STIL standards. So that's became a win-win for us. How well did the curriculum help you practice these science skills? So again, looking for the orange to the yellow as the area, and obviously yellow did the best case very well. So again, there at the bottom on the left as we move over, asking questions and defining problems. Again, kids, again, are focused in that as we went through the pilot. Planning and carrying out investigations, experiments, you can see that's probably our strongest area. The kids have had an opportunity to really get engaged in some of the physical pieces of the lab parts in the class, and again, has been a highlight for them. Analyzing and interpreting data, again, that's something that will continue to go in, and that's that cross-curricular that Teresa talked about there with our math class. So again, that ability to be able, and that's one of the nice things too, is particularly in grades 3, 4, and 5, the math and science teacher is the same teacher, so they are providing both sets of curricular instruction, and that allows itself to go hand in hand, so we're really excited about that opportunity. And then obviously K-2, self-contained, it's still the same teacher there too, so again, it gives that math science approach just naturally. Constructing explanations and designing solutions, again, that's the future of education right there. Is helping kids to be able to design and figure out and problem solve to create solutions to whatever problems in front of them. So again, this reiterates and reinforces that skill. And then really arguing from evidence, explanation, why things happen. So again, that's part of that narrative of the writing component that we want to continue to build at the elementary school, and to help support our friends over in the ELA world through that reading and writing lens. And again, we feel like this is a step in that direction that allows that to happen. We did, unfortunately, we did get to go visit in person. We had that scheduled. The weather threw a little bit of a curveball into our plans. So rather than sitting back, I give a lot of credit to our team of teachers. They took the initiative to meet with the West York staff. So we were able to get into some virtual discussions with their staff, which again is the next best thing to actually making the visit over there. And some of the strengths that was mentioned and pulled out of those conversations, again, and just for clarity a little bit with West York, is they are in year 1 of full implementation. So they went through their preparing and planning last year and making a choice in their curriculum choice. They made that, they completed that last year, and now they're in their first full year of actual teaching the mystery science curriculum. So highly engaged and student-centered, again, continues to be a theme we hear. Strong emphasis on hands-on experimental learning, again, what we believe mystery science will provide us too. It's flexible and adaptable to meet the diverse classroom needs, and as we talk about working with all of our students, so it's whether it's our special ed students, whether it's our highest achieving students, we want to create and have the opportunity to meet all kids' needs, and we believe mystery science will do that for us. High teacher satisfaction and positive instructional experiences. We all know that teacher is the single most important defining factor in student success. So having our teachers to have a resource that they are happy with, they feel is successful, and it also is aligned to what the state expects from us. Again, that's a win-win situation, and that's what we want to create. Consideration, they mentioned there, hands-on learning can be less structured, at times reflecting authentic student engagement, and they talk about recommendations there, maintain implementation flexibility to allow teachers to adapt instruction in ways that best support student achievement. They have a little bit of a different structure with their science. They sort of pair that with social studies, where part of the year they're doing science, part of the year they're doing social studies. So that creates a little bit of time. We probably have a little bit more time devoted to science than what they have, which again I would say is a win for us as well, too. One of the important things, and we did not want to leave this out, is, well, what is our K-3 teachers here telling us about that? Even though they weren't directly involved with the pilot, gave them an opportunity to explore the resource, get some of the information behind the scenes, hear some of our conversations. And as one, Ms. Mitchell asked me, can I try some of the information? Can I use some of the information? I said, sure, that's part of exploring and putting that there. So she's had an opportunity to really dig into it a little bit deeper. The students, so some of the information here, the students stop and discuss the topic or details at timely intervals. So again, that goes back to the connections and the engagement that kids are having. The lesson activities are age appropriate and standard driven. That's one of the beautiful things of the mystery science. It is tailored K-5. It is a full K-5 curriculum. So it represents each level really well for what that level needs. Many students have made connections to the lessons since we completed it. So again, as they looked at some information, students are coming back to that, and that's a sign of progress of true learning taking place if they're able to bring and retrieve that information back. And then really just connecting it, that bottom point, to small groups. The teacher said it's amazing to hear them bring up the content of the science piece up after they're reading a book, during small group instruction, or writing informational paragraphs. So again, the reading and writing, kids are now bringing what they're learning in science to those avenues as well, and that's again a nice cross-curricular piece of that as well. So really the final piece here is really what we're asking is the opportunity to move forward with the mystery science curriculum. We really believe it'll make a more efficient, deliverable piece for our teachers, centered around science instruction. And obviously, you know, one of my strong beliefs in the building, I know the majority of people believe as well, is we want to support each other. So again, supporting our literacy skills alongside with our science and learning, again, is making that a collaborative approach. And why we're bringing this back to the board to ask for what I would call official approval of the science curriculum for the 26-27 school year and beyond. That concludes our report.
Great, thank you.
Can we ask questions?
Yeah, I will open it up for, I first want to thank you all for coming and presenting, and for all the work you're doing with this. What it sounds like, this seems to be a great resource for our district to take advantage of. And it sounds like things are going really great with the kids, and that they are really having a great time and learning a lot that is hopefully going to help us along with our state standards going forward. So, Al?
Yeah. How long has West York had mystery science?
So this was their first full year of implementation where they're actually teaching from the curriculum. Last year they vetted, and I'm going to pass the buck here a little bit. So Ms. Coombs actually came from Trimmer Elementary, which is over in West Shore.
Right.
To come with us, so if you want to get
Yeah,
a
so
little better.
they did the pilot last year. 2 teachers from each grade level were chosen to do that. And then at the end of the year, so in West York, they do 2 marking periods of social studies, and they have the J Biz Town curriculum that goes into that, and then the 2 marking periods of science. So this, obviously, mystery science needs to be spread throughout the whole year. So at the end, there were 3 units that were left, and so the other 3 teachers, we each took one, and I was able to actually pilot one of the units as well. And so that sparked my curiosity when I came here, seeing what we had here, and they said mystery science. I was like, yes, you know, it's so user-friendly, and as you can see from all of the data, the kids absolutely love it. So they went ahead, purchased it, and now they're in their first full year of implementing it there in West York.
A couple of things, well, I think it's hard to argue with anything that you shared tonight, but a couple of things that stood out to me. 3 of the areas that the kids liked the most regarding the instructional activities had nothing to do with being in front of an iPad or a computer screen, which I thought was pretty cool. Because frankly, I think maybe a lot of schools overdo the screen time. Secondly, I think a lot of elementary teachers are teaching multiple subjects. And to have a user-friendly, structured lesson plan like that, that's going to be consistently delivered to all the students. So it's not, what you're getting isn't based upon the teacher and the favorite things that they're doing. It's more of a consistent delivery, and that every child in that grade level is getting a pretty consistent lesson and so on. So that's pretty impressive as well. And I just think, my final thing is that I think you've really done your homework, and I really appreciate you coming tonight and sharing what you have here. And I'm looking forward to our test scores just going through the roof. Thank you.
I think it's great. Out of 5 of my children, 3 of them have had 1, 2, 3, or 4 of you. And 1 currently talks about he loves school, and I just think that this is a great thing to, I know he struggled with reading and some of his writing, and he's really grown the last 2 years. So I think this is a great piece that it ties in not only math, but the ELA part, the science part, and it's fun, and they're learning and don't realize that they're learning. So I think it's fantastic. I mean, I hear about it a lot. So, yeah.
What else?
No, I like the hands-on aspect. That's good. I think the more they're hands-on, the more they become engaged, and it just is all positive. I think it sounds great.
Yep. I like the cross-curricular. Again, with the ELA, the writing, now you saw in the data, the kids don't love to write, right? But the more you write, the better you get at writing. So I really like that. We've seen over the last couple of years the data in our vocabulary. Kids struggle with that, so I love that piece. That'll really help as well.
So I would just support what Judy's saying there. Like, yeah, I did recognize that too within the data set of the feedback that kids gave about the reading and the writing, which we all know has been one of our challenges that we have to continue to work through. So this helps move us in that direction to be able to better support that. Because again, you take something that kids are truly engaged about, and now they're going to write about it more, that will become a better product in the end, and then they're also going to want to read more about what it is. So I think it's going to help us across the board in those areas.
And thank you for taking the time to meet with the other schools.
Yeah.
And thank you for, even though it didn't work out because of the weather, that you still took initiative to meet with them. I think that shows that you're committed, it's important, and just the time and effort that you guys have put into this, and thank you for being here tonight to present to us again.
It's
Appreciate
a
it.
pretty rock star team.
I know.
Absolutely. And Dr. Perry, on the budgetary side, this will be incorporated in the curriculum budget.
So the nice thing, once the board votes on the 16th, if we get the go-ahead, I had put it into the Ready to Learn grant for this year. So for K-5, it is less than $10,000. So when we talk about cost-effective and sustainable, it's very sustainable. And it's not $10,000 every year, because some of those are supplies up front, Now, there's some consumables in there that we will have to replenish from year to year, but it's very cost effective, which of course we like. Yes, it's already budgeted for and money is earmarked.
So is the committee in favor of moving this forward?